All right, we are getting a breaking input on this story. Now, Trump says that federal funding to improve voter turnout in India was a kickback scheme. He said that this while listing a number of foreign aid contracts that have been eliminated by the US Department of Efficiency Services.
In Serbia, $486 million to the Consortium for Elections and Political Process Strengthening, including $22 million for inclusive and participatory political process in Moldova, and $21 million for voter turnout in India. Why are we caring about India turnout? We got enough problems. We want our own turnout, don't we? Can you imagine all that money going to India? I wonder what they think when they get it. Now, it's a kickback scheme. You know, it's not like they get it and they spend. They kick it back to the people that send it, I would say, in many cases. Many of these cases, anytime you have no idea what we're talking about, that means there's a kickback, because nobody has any idea what's going on there. $29 million to strengthen the political landscape in Bangladesh. Nobody knows what they mean by political landscape. What does that mean? $20 million for fiscal federalism and $19 million for biodiversity in Nepal. $47 million for improving learning outcomes in Asia. What the hell do I care about? We got a lot. We got enough problems. And all of this is terminated. We terminated this stuff, and we're on the track. And by the way, so many others I could read all night long, but so many were so terrible, and some were actually disgusting. And I know you're eating your dinner, so I didn't want to do that. But we're draining the swamp. And, you know, one of them was $100 million for condoms for Hamas. You heard about that. 50 and 50. It's 50 million, and then they decided they needed more.
All right, I'm now joined by CNN News 18's Akansha Swaroop. Akansha, with every passing day, the entire US aid controversy is only getting murkier. Now, Donald Trump says it seems it was a kickback scheme.
Absolutely. Sharon, President Donald Trump was addressing a gathering of Republican governors in Washington when he made this statement. As in highlighting, this is the third time on a third consecutive day that he's talking about this $21 million funding that was allocated to India. And this time around today, he's directly referred to it as kickbacks. Look at the logic that he's applying. He's saying that every time you cannot sort of trace back or figure out where the funding is going, and every time it's puzzling you, means that there are kickbacks involved. Because over here also, the entire administration is trying to sort of trace what this funding was meant for, and they cannot sort of do that. So that's what is now being implied, that this could possibly be kickbacks. Look at how he's referred to all of Asia and South Asia primarily. He's talked about $28 million funding allocated to Bangladesh to strengthen the quote-unquote political landscape. What kind of strengthening has happened as far as the political landscape in Bangladesh is concerned? You and I are privy to the kind of disturbances that have been happening in the last 1 year, which has completely shaken up the previous Sheikh Hasina regime. He's talked about funding which was allocated to Nepal. The one in India, of course, has already led to a furor, one that's shaken up the Indian Parliament. And as I've been highlighting, this is the third consecutive time that the US President is highlighting it, that is soon after the Indian Prime Minister met with him a week ago at the White House, is only going to mean greater pressure on the Indian government now to come out with the details. As we've already been highlighting that this has been established, that a memorandum of understanding was signed in the year 2014 under S.Y. Qureshi. In fact, it was in 2012 that S.Y. Qureshi had signed that memorandum of understanding. And in that, there was, the involvement of the CEPPS, which is a consortium for elections and political process strengthening, that is being linked with George Soros' foundation. So even though the then CEC, S.Y. Qureshi, has denied that there was no money involved or any kind of fiscal sort of funding coming in from the United States, the fact of the matter is these allegations are very severe. Where did the money go? As Jairam Ramesh from the Congress party has already said, Omar Abdullah has been also questioning that, they need to come out with a white paper. The Indian government now will have to explain and look into it, set up perhaps a parliamentary committee which can investigate where this $21 million funding went.
Yes, Akansha, the politics over it, of course, continues in India. And to take us through the details of this politics, I'm going to go across to my colleague Pallavi Ghosh on this. Pallavi, the statement that is coming in from US President at this point will have major repercussions on ground.
Absolutely, Shireen, and we are just doing a countdown as far as the next parliament session is concerned. I think it's going to begin on 11th of March, and I think the pitch has already been set. On one hand, you're having the Congress party demanding a white paper. They're saying if there's a list, please go public with it, so that doodh ka doodh, pani ka pani, and it should be discussed. I think the opposition party, Shireen, will also demand that the entire matter must be referred to a parliamentary committee as well. And in this sense, we are going to see a unified opposition, because it's not just the Congress who have been accused, the Trinamool Congress and all of them. But it's not that the BJP wants to find itself on a back foot. We saw a press conference which came yesterday where Ravi Shankar Prasad very clearly said that an inquiry is going to be instituted in this. But by way of government sources, we have already been told that there has been a kind of a baby step which has been taken. The list is long, it's lengthy, and it's going to take a lot of time to actually break that down. But preliminary information available with the government is that an amount of fund which came in during the UPA times was in stark higher than that is coming in the present regime. So politics is going to be full on this, with both the sides not backing off.
Absolutely. A stormy session, of course, is going to happen with this remaining budget session that is all set to take place on March 10th. Many thanks, Akansha and Pallavi, for getting us all those details.